Thrust reverser cowl door installation. Make sure that the aircraft is in the same configuration as for the removal task, with the thrust reverser system deactivated. On the dolly, attach the thrust reverser hoisting sling to the 3 sling points on the thrust reverser half. First, attach the sling to the hoisting fixture provided on the thrust reverser hinge upper beam. Then attach the sling to the lower hoisting points of the cowl door. Lift the cowl door from the dolly and carefully position the cowl door onto the pylon. Align the thrust reverser cowl door hinges with the hinges on the crossover beams of the pylon. And install the 4 hinge bolts. First at position 4. Then at positions 1, 2, and 3. Next, remove the hoisting fixture from the hinge upper beam and keep the lower 2 sling points attached. Using the hoist, lift the door to the maximum open position. Extend the rear and forward hold open rods and make sure that they are correctly engaged. Remove the thrust reverser sling from the lower hoisting points. After that, remove the dust cover from the quick disconnect and connect the hydraulic hose from a hand pump or service unit. Inside the thrust reverser half, gain access to the mounting bracket of the thrust reverser cowl door opening actuator. Position the cowl door opening actuator. And attach it to its mounting brackets on the thrust reverser cowl door. Then remove the protective cap from the opening actuator hydraulic connector and connect the hydraulic manifold. Using the hydraulic service unit or hand pump, pressurize the actuator to bleed the air. When finished, tighten and torque the hydraulic manifold connector. Then reinstall the protective shroud. On the opposite side of the engine, gain access to the opening actuator hinge beam on the pylon. And using the hydraulic service unit, extend the opening actuator rod to the hinge beam. Align and attach it. Next, close the thrust reverser cowl door by operating the hydraulic service unit. On the engine bottom center line, engage and latch correctly both thrust reverser halves together. On the pylon area, finish tightening the hinge bolts and torque them at all positions. On the thrust reverser system, remove the dust cover of the hydraulic deploy hose. Use a container to collect the drained hydraulic fluid. Then insert the reverser flexible shaft into the deploy hose. And connect the deploy hose to the thrust reverser upper actuator. In the same way, connect the thrust reverser retract hose. On the thrust reverser system electrical receptacle, reconnect the electrical connector. On the pylon ERA, reinstall the hinge access panel. And the pylon fairings. Finally, return the aircraft to the initial configuration as defined in the close-up subtasks.